Welcome to the OWS DMP Integration Overview. I'm Jim Mack, Technical Training Manager for OpenEye. Today we will discuss how OpenEye Web Services integrate with DMP monitoring products and demonstrate some of the unique and exciting solutions this integration brings, including new features from OWS version 1.7. We will review how easy it is to add an XR or XT series DMP panel to an OpenEye recorder and configure actionable alerts in the cloud that can be pushed to users, mobile devices, and central stations. XT series panels will be supported by OWS in version 1.7. The actionable alerts generated by OWS bring operational intelligence by delivering proof-positive video verification. Because so many have turned out for today's presentation, and I want to thank everybody for the amazing interest in this. We're going to keep everybody muted today. If you have questions during the presentation, simply enter them into the questions panel of GoToWebinar, and we will address them at the end. Today's presentation is being recorded, and a link to the recorded presentation will be sent to you as a follow-up. So let's go ahead and review the objectives for today's overview. We'll start with a brief architecture overview. Then we will discuss the key benefits of the integration. We will then configure the DMP panel to send events to the OpenEye recorder. After configuring the panel to send the events, we will add the DMP panel to the OpenEye recorder. Once that panel is added, we will configure OWS alert rules to receive DMP panel events from the recorder to generate alerts. And finally, we will round things out by playing and exporting video associated with DMP events. With our objectives defined, let's get started by looking at the architecture overview. Event data from the DMP keypad is passed to the OpenEye recorder over a local network connection, so there's no need for extra wiring or relays here. The recorder passes the event data onto OWS using its persisted secure connection, and OWS then generates alerts based on the event type and the defined rule. OWS can send video push and email alerts to OpenEye Mobile, allow for DMP event monitoring and event search with OpenEye clients, and provide alerts to central station applications. So again, very simply, the keypad will send the events over the local area network to the OpenEye recorder, which then relays those through the secure connection up to OWS. The message is then reviewed, and if there's a rule for it, the alert gets sent out based on how it was defined, whether it's a push to mobile or you're viewing this from client or it's going to central station. With the data flow overview complete, let's discuss the key benefits of the integration. And we'll start with the alert history. Alert rules can be generated to accommodate numerous event types, from intrusion to intrusion zone alerts to access, video analytic, and health alerts. OWS provides the ability to always be informed of events happening in your environment. Alert history allows a user to search through their alerts in a very granular fashion. Alerts can be filtered by type, date, acknowledgement status, etc. Hovering over the camera icon will show you a snapshot of the video clip before viewing it. This is a very nice way to quickly reduce a sizable amount of alerts into a more focused and manageable set of alerts. We'll be looking into this feature set later on in a demonstration. Now let's talk about the historical event search within video playback. An additional benefit of the integration is the historical event search. So this search tool enables users to retroactively filter and review all DMP panel events. So as an example, a user would be able to review the video from all business openings by filtering for panel disarms on a single user interface. We'll show you how easy this is to do later on in the presentation. Let's discuss email alerts next. A key benefit of the integration is the ability to receive email alerts and mobile push notifications based on any intrusion, zone, or access control event on a DMP panel. So this provides users with greater insight into their business and their operations. For example, a user may wish to know whenever their business is opened or closed, like I just mentioned. They may also wish to know when a receiving, cooler, or warehouse door has been propped open or simply open for too long. Facility managers may wish to be alerted whenever a door is forced open or when an access control user attempts to enter an unauthorized area. The OWS integration with DMP will provide greater insight into these events by instantly delivering an email alert and/or mobile push notification, including the associated video. We're going to look into this further on into the presentation. The next key benefit to review today is push notifications. Another key benefit of the OWS DMP integration is video verification of alarms and other concerning events via push notifications. Users may receive a mobile push notification, including the associated video, whenever an alarm condition is detected by the DMP system. This information can be used to visually verify the incident so the appropriate action can be taken. Users may receive alert notification whenever motion is detected, a video analytic event occurs, or a traditional sensor device is triggered. Even more powerful is the ability to send these actionable alerts only when the DMP panel is in a particular state. So for example, you may only wish to receive a particular motion alert if the panel is in an armed state, or perhaps a disarmed state, or even both. OWS provides this flexibility. The key point is the OWS alerts engine can be automatically engaged based on the arming status of the DMP panel. So if you take a look at the slide, you can see that a notification comes in. You can open up the notification and see a clip of the video and then decide if you want to go right into it or not. It's very, very nice. And we will review this more in depth when we discuss building alerts in OWS, and we'll show you the push notifications in action later on in the presentation. Let's go ahead and look at another key benefit. A final benefit to discuss is DMP's virtual keypad service. When users subscribe to the virtual keypad service, they can review panel events, arm and disarm their system, and view video from OpenEye cameras all through the virtual keypad mobile or thin client interface. This enables most users access to the primary functionality of their intrusion, access control, and video systems through a single application. And as you can see here in the slide, alarm notifications can be verified with OpenEye video and then declared real or false. And we'll show this a little more in depth as we continue the presentation today. But again, being able to visually verify these types of events can really cut down on the false alarms and any fines, or God forbid you even get cut off from police heading to your place. And we'll talk about that value proposition a little bit later on. So now that we've discussed all the key benefits of the integration, let's go ahead and configure the DMP panel to send events to the OpenEye recorder. The DMP panel is configured using the remote link software. Before you enter into that, take note of the local IP address of the OpenEye recorder. Again, make sure you know the local IP address of the OpenEye recorder before doing these next steps. So let's go ahead and launch the remote link software and get this setup underway. So here's the remote link software. It will display your panels, and we need to collect some information here before we actually do some setup work. So when you come in, besides the fact that I would like you to please go ahead and grab the local IP address from the OpenEye recorder, I would also like you to gather the account number for the panel, the remote key, the IP address of the panel, and its listening port. Again, the account number, the remote key, the IP address of the panel, and its listening port. Jot these down because we may need those later. Once you've collected that information, you can find your panel and double click on it. From there, you can go to Panel and Connect. Go ahead and connect, and you'll get a dialog back saying everything is good. Once you're connected, you go to Program and PC Log Reports. Within PC Log Reports, under Options, check all of the boxes. This makes sure that all of the events will be sent. Then you want to enter here under Net Options, where it says Net IP Address. This is where you put the local IP address of the OpenEye recorder. So again, Net IP Address, local IP address of the OpenEye recorder. Leave the default 2001 for the port, and here are the options that you need to check. For those of you who are already using the PC Log Reports for other functions, DMP has provided us a workaround, and OpenEye support can help you out with that. So anybody in that particular situation, not to worry, you can still enjoy this integration. Once you're finished, go ahead and press OK. And then you want to go back up to Panel and simply disconnect. And we'll disconnect, and we're all set. And that's what you have to do to the DMP panel to allow it to send its events to the OpenEye recorder. Very, very straightforward. Let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. All right, now that we've configured that DMP panel to send events to the OpenEye recorder, let's go ahead and add the DMP panel to the OpenEye recorder. The panel can be configured by logging directly into the local console, accessing the local recorder with the thin client, or accessing the recorder remotely using the thin client. So let's add the panel using the thin client. So give me a moment and we're going to jump into OWS. All right, once you sign into OWS, you'll be brought into the channel partner portion of this portal, and this is where all of your customers are listed. So you want to locate that customer, and the first thing you want to do is choose Manage. Once you've chosen Manage, you want to go to Report and Alert Options. Within Report and Alert Options, you want to make sure that the Enable Intrusion Alerts for this account is checked. What this does when this box is checked is it allows us to build the alert rules for the intrusion type events. So without that being checked, you can't build the alert rules. So simply check this box. Very straightforward. Let's go back into Manage Account. So we're back here again. Once again, we're now back to the channel partner portal. And then let me point out that the banner bar is orange here. So we still got our customer. This time what we want to do is we want to choose Select. So now we're going to select that customer, and then what that is going to do for us is bring up all of the recorders underneath that customer. We're now in the customer portion of the portal, and notice that the banner bar is now blue. So the next thing that we want to do is, with this recorder, we need to connect. Once we're connected, we'll go up to the upper right, and there's a gear setting for setup, and you want to select that. And that's going to bring up the setup options. Underneath the general configuration options is intrusion. Go ahead and select that. And that's going to bring up all the panels in the areas and zones and attached devices. Now, here's the panel that I have added already. I added this so we could do the demo today, but I wish to show you exactly what you need to do to add the panel using the auto discovery method. So allow me to just show you this. So what we want to do here, and let me get this started, is once you've gone ahead and you've clicked intrusion, go ahead and select auto discovery and press save. Once you've pressed save, run to the keypad and do a couple of events. Do an arm, a disarm, something of that nature, just to generate a couple of events. And then come on back and refresh your screen. What you'll see is that the panel is now automatically added into OWS. You can then select the panel and you can give it a name. You can verify or change its IP. You can select a camera that you can associate with the keypad. These will be incorporated in the snapshots for arming and disarming. And you need to enter the remote key. Go ahead and press sync now, and it'll go out and it'll grab all of the information that we have stored on the panel, and then you can come back. If you refresh again, what you'll see is all of the zones, areas, etc. are now showing very nicely for you. And we'll start to discuss those now in greater detail. All right, so getting back to our live environment here, again, here's our panel. So again, if we select the panel, you can change the name, IP address. Again, you've got your camera in here, associated account numbers, remote keys. You can always resync that panel back to the OpenEye recorder as well. If we take a look at zones, what we'll see under zones is that we have a listing of all of the zones, their names and their numbers, the current state that they're in, the areas they're associated with, and the associated cameras as well. Very straightforward, but very informative. Under areas, we'll also be shown the name of the area and the current state that it's in. And we also have the attached devices. Now, the attached devices are things such as the access card readers, the keypads, and things of that nature. So you'll see their names, you'll see the areas they're associated with, as well as their associated cameras. Now, I want to pause for a minute because one of the great parts of the integration is that if you add a zone, or you change the name of a device, or delete a device, or add a new area, anytime you do that, that's automatically synchronized back to the OpenEye recorder. So you don't have to maintain data on both sides of the fence. It's all in the integration. So make a change and the OpenEye recorder will know about it. It just makes it really easy on the end user. So again, you don't have to do double steps. It's a great part of the integration. One of the other things I wanted to mention here, I'd like to take a minute, is that we have this column here on the end. We had it for the attached devices and the zones as well. And it's called image offset. It's a really nice feature. As you know, anytime that an alert happens, we're going to send a snapshot with it. And sometimes we want to change the timing on that snapshot. So let's take a look at how that works. If we look at this image here, this is an interior camera facing the door. So when somebody scans from the outside, when that alert happens, they may still very well be outside of the glass. We may not be able to identify them from this viewpoint. What we can do is change that image offset to +2. And what that means is it's going to wait 2 seconds until it finds the snapshot to send. That's probably enough time to get somebody through the door for identification. Conversely, if this door was being watched by an outside camera, you probably would want to set the image offset to maybe -2 so that you could capture the person walking up to the door before they scanned. So I always like to mention this because it's a really nice feature that's built within the system, and you can really fine-tune how your alerts and those associated snapshots that come with them will look to your end user as well. So with that being said, let me get us back into our PowerPoint presentation. All right. If the DMP panel does not appear in OWS after trying to add it using the auto discovery function, here's some troubleshooting tips. First of all, verify that the IP address and the port that you entered into the DMP panel in that PC log section is the correct local IP address and port of the OpenEye recorder. Make sure all of those option boxes are checked as well. The next thing you can do is simply reset the DMP panel. You can also reboot the OpenEye recorder. Go back, generate another event from the keypad, arm, disarm, and then refresh again to see if the panel shows up in OWS. If that doesn't work, we can go ahead and add the panel manually. So let's take a minute and let's look at how that's done. So if we go back to the panels, if all of these troubleshooting steps still aren't showing us our panel, you can add a new panel simply by clicking Add Intrusion Panel. You give it a name. You select the protocol of DMP, you enter the IP address of the panel, that's why I had you guys write that down earlier. You pick a camera to go with the keypad, put in that account number that we recorded earlier, as well as the remote key. Then you can save and apply, and the panel will come online. So it's very easy to do. The auto enable is much easier, but there is a way around it just in case something doesn't go quite right. We like to accommodate that as well. So that's how you manually add the panel. All right. So now that we've added the DMP panel to the OpenEye recorder, let's configure OWS alert rules for the DMP events. Let's take a look at some of the DMP event groups and DMP event types that OWS can produce alerts for. As you can see in this chart, there's a great amount of detail that can be reported and alerted on. This much detail allows the end user to set up a wide variety of alerts that matter most to them. And because this integration is IP-based, adding, changing, or deleting an alert can all be done through OWS. There's absolutely no need to roll a truck or send a technician to do that. Let's go ahead and look at some of the existing alerts I have set up and build a new one as well. So let's go back into OWS. And I'm going to go back to the customer level. And from here, we're going to go ahead and say alerts and alert rules. So here's the existing alert rules that I have at my disposal. We're going to discuss a few of these and some of the neat new features that are built within. But let's just start off by building a simple rule together. And let's build this rule. Let's just say that anytime the system is armed or disarmed, we'd like to know about it, and we'll put a little variation on when those alerts go. So to do that, we're going to select Add New Rule. All right, this is the new Alert Rules setup screen within OWS 1.7, where we've added a lot of new alert types. Now, for armed and disarmed, I know that those are intrusion alerts, so I'm going to select that and press Next. Now we have to give this alert a name, so I'm just very simply going to call it Arm, Disarm. And its description will be armed and disarmed. All right, you can name those as you choose, but this works for our example. Let's go ahead and click Create. Once we've clicked Create, now it's time to build this rule. And again, our rule needs to be anytime the panel's armed or disarmed, we'd like to know about it. And let's take it a step further. Let's also say that I only want to know about it on 24 hours a day on weekends and only between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. on weekdays. So we've made this kind of complex. But let me show you how easy it is to implement. The first thing we need to do is start to build the simple rule. So I know that if I select area, I can get the event type of armed. Great. So now we've already told it anytime an area is armed, let me know. Now, we also said we wanted to know when it's disarmed. So how do we do that? The beauty of the alert rule wizard is that it allows you to stack conditionals. So I can add an or here. So area disarmed. So now anytime an area is armed or an area is disarmed, we're going to get an alert. You can add more multiples on top of that if you choose. Here's our timing. Now, right now, this is set to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, earlier we said what we would like to do is have 24 hours a day on weekends, but only 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. So how do we pull this off? Very similarly to how we added a conditional to the rule, we can add another set of time constraints within time. Go ahead and press plus, and it'll add a second row. So let's do this. Let's just remove the weekdays from here. Now we have 24 hours a day on weekends. Let's go ahead and set this to 3 a.m., this to 5 a.m., and we'll go ahead and get rid of the weekend days. And now we have 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., Monday through Friday. So we've gone ahead and said armed and disarmed. We've got our timings right. All right, we're doing good. The next thing is there's some other options at the bottom, and I want to discuss these as we go. The first is active alert. If you choose this box, it will make the alert active. A couple of things happen when you do that. Number one, any of the active alerts are put into the active alerts section. This is where you keep your most important or critical alerts. Also, any push notification or email alert that is an active alert will have the word active in it. So from an email perspective, you can actually read through your subjects and actually put these in special folders and or have some different notification sounds, etc. if you're to receive one of these. It's just a nicety, but it really works well. So that's what active alerts do. You can also choose to send these alerts to third-party central stations, and we have some listed here as well. So these type of events can also be pushed out to third party. Once everything is set, press save. All right, and now we're going to work our way down this left-hand side to make sure everything is right, and then we're going to work our way back up to verify we are happy with what we did. So the next thing we want to choose is recorders. So we have to add a recorder to this rule. So let's go ahead and click Add Recorder. I only have one for this customer, so I'll choose it. Now the other thing that you can do, and I want to mention this because it's an excellent feature, is we have an option up here called Automatically Include All Recorders. If you check this, if this customer adds another recorder 2 months from now, that recorder will automatically be included in this rule. You don't have to remember to go set it back up for them. It's more of a set it, forget it. Click this once, any new recorder coming online is going to be included in this alert rule. So it's really, really a nice little feature there and a great time saver. Again, very much a set it and forget it type of thing. Let's go ahead and add that recorder in. What we'll see now is auto include is now showing. And what that means is any recorders that they have now and all recorders in the future that they may add would be included here. Let's go down the list a little further. Let's go to users and notifications. So we've built the rule, we've picked the recorder. Now we have to choose people to receive it and how are they going to receive it. So right now I'm in here and I can say, give me a push notification when this happens. And I might want to add some individual users, or in this example, I may say, let's add a group of users. All of my regional managers need to receive a push notification anytime system's armed or disarmed. Very straightforward and very easy, but you can see how nice that is to set up. Click back down into general info, and this is where we started. Here's the name of the report and its description. So what I like to do from here is just check my work. I work myself back up. I like the way it's named and I like the way it's described. I've defined my users who are to receive this alert, and I've defined the manner in which they are to receive it. We've defined the recorders that are included, and then there's the actual rule definition itself. So all of this looks good. And this is how easy it is to build an alert and then verify it by going back up the configuration. So very simple to do. Let's go ahead back into alert rules. There's a couple other things that I'd like to show. So let's take a look at a very simple motion alert. All right. So again, when you edit an alert rule, it starts you at the bottom. So again, I always just like to take a look. So we have a basic motion alert. We have users who are receiving this right now. We have the cameras that are involved. And then we have the rule itself. So basically this one is 24 hours on Wednesdays, and it works. Here's what I talked about earlier. One of the great new features of OWS 1.7 is the ability to tie that alert rule to the state of the panel. So right now, this motion alert goes no matter what state the DMP panel is in. But if I only want this to go when it's armed, it's just that easy, or disarmed, right? How would we use this in real world? If you have a client that is the type of operation that maybe they don't really have a true open and close time, for example. So you're working somewhere where maybe you close at 5, maybe you close at 7. It's very difficult to set up a hard motion rule that says, okay, from 5 o'clock on, give me motion. There may still be people there, and it could be excessive. When you tie that alert rule to the status of the panel, you take that away. So it really doesn't matter if I closed at 5 or at 6:30. These alert rules aren't going to start until I arm my panel and walk out the door. So this is really a strong feature set, and it really provides an immense amount of flexibility in the way that you can deliver alerts to people without overwhelming them as well. So we're really, really proud of this one. Let me go back to alert rules. There's one other thing that I want to show. So this particular rule here is an intrusion zone alert. How we use this alert rule is dynamite. So first of all, it's got a name. We have users, and then we have zones defined, and then we have the rule. So what the rule says is, hey, anytime that intrusion zone contact is activated for more than 0 seconds, go ahead and give us an alert. Well, guess what? If you don't have access control on your DMP panel, you can use the intrusion zone alerts to let you know when a door was opened or when a door's been opened for a certain amount of time. So we use this to know that the people came into inventory early, and that's great. And we could also use this by setting this duration to maybe 300. So that would be 5 minutes. So if anybody propped open a door in the back, you'd get that alert as well. But again, it's not coming from access, it's coming from the intrusion zone. So that's really a nice flexible feature if there isn't any access control within that DMP environment. So it's really good stuff, and it just, again, it adds a lot of flexibility for what you can do for your clients and the amount of alerts and actionable data that they can work with as well. So that's the alert rules, and that's how those ones work. I'm going to jump back into our PowerPoint presentation. And now that the OWS alert rules are properly set up, let's review how to play and export video associated with the DMP events. Playing and exporting OpenEye video associated with DMP events is video verification at its finest. Video events are easily exported to the OWS cloud and can then be shared with anyone using any browser. Let's look at how we review the alerts, play their associated video, and then export that video to the cloud. And let's start by looking at the alert history. So I'm going to go back into OWS, and if we go to alerts and select alert history, you'll see that all of the history will now pop up and populate my screen. I have a lot of motion detects. You can hover over any of these events where the camera icon is to see the cameras. I can scroll down a little more, and you'll see I have an awful lot of motion. I've turned this on purpose today because I want to illustrate some of the great features within the alert history page. So maybe I'm interested in motion, but maybe for this example, I'm more interested in unauthorized access. So we have filters. So what we can do is say, how about from December 20th through today, only give me all of my access denied to an unauthorized area, right? And I can apply that. And here's what happens. I can go ahead and hide my filters now too. So here's a much smaller set of actionable data. So there's a lot of alerts that can be generated. How quickly you get to them is very simple. Utilize the filters and you can really get to things fast. So here are all of these unauthorized accesses. So if we start to look, we'll see that I can hover over these, and I don't know if y'all are seeing a pattern here, but this is the same person. And obviously, I've got an employee who doesn't belong in inventory or the server room, but appears to be trying to get there an awful lot. So either this new employee is very confused, or maybe they're looking to be my silent partner, but we may wish to engage them. If you look here, you'll also see some comments. So this seems to be a pattern here is what this says. And looks here like maybe this person has an accomplice. So what I want to do now is illustrate that not only can you have these events and these alerts and their video, but if you jump into any of them by clicking view, you can then go ahead and acknowledge this alert or add some notes to it. So, in this case, again, I may want to say, need to speak to HR, possible termination. All right, so put that in there. And if I go ahead and I save that, and then I go back into my alerts, what you'll see is that that particular alert is now updated with the comment. Now, what's nice about that is you can ask, if you own the company, you can ask your general manager to take a look at something, and you know that they've been in to look at it. You can see who's been there, and you can look at the alert. You can also then go ahead, acknowledge that alert, and it will actually show on the previous page who acknowledged the alert. So I can assign this to somebody, and then I can know, oh yes, this person did go ahead and reviewed this for me as I asked. So it's a very powerful way for you to manage alerts as they happen and make sure that you very quickly take care of that actionable data. Again, I think taking care of things with urgency is much easier when you can disseminate a large amount of data into things that really matter most. And this demonstrates how quickly, that you can do that. Now, if we go ahead and we jump into one of these clips, we can look in here, and one of the things we can do from here is we can simply go ahead and go into playback for that particular clip. So straight from the alert right into our playback, we can see that what's happening there. We can go ahead and play. The control sets are great on these. You can pause, you can zoom. I think most folks who use OpenEye products are familiar with this, but it's a very nice way to play this back. If this truly is of interest, we may want to take the clip from this point here and export it to the cloud. I really need to confront this person. Doing so is as simple as saying export, choose the length of the clip, and go ahead and say either save to web services or save locally. I'm going to save to web services because that's where we're allowed to share the clip with others, etc. Once I click that, we've got to give this a title. So we'll just call this sample clip, and we'll just say the unauthorized access issues. All right, we'll make it very simple like that. And I'm going to go ahead and click export at this time. Now you'll notice we get a confirmation that the clip is uploading. There's also an icon right here in this cloud that's showing that it's being uploaded. Here's another great thing about OpenEye and OWS. You don't have to wait for that to finish. Move on and continue to work on the things that you wish to work on. Very straightforward, very easy to do. So while we're in here, let's go ahead and select Event. Events actually allow us from the playback screen to access our alerts and events. So I might want to say intrusion. And again, let's say from December 20th, just like we had done earlier. And let's pick that. And let's say intrusion. And again, let's do the access denied type of a rule if we wish, or we could even do area disarmed. Let's do that. Who opened my shop? Who's been in and who's been opening? Go ahead and hit apply. Here's all of those filters. By clicking on these, you'll get the associated snapshots. You can sort these by date and time as well. So if we go with the most recent, I can very quickly click through these. and I can see all the times that people have armed disarmed. So maybe I want to make sure that the night crew has been coming in on time. Very easy to very quickly disseminate that. And if any of that is of a concerning nature, you can go right into the video. It's very easy to do as well. So just another way to get to your alerts while you're within playback. Very, very easy to do. So there we go. And again, if any of these we wanted to share, you can simply go into the clip, go ahead and play it back, and we can go ahead and, just as we did before, we can export this up to the cloud. All right, so this is very straightforward, but this is how we can get to all of our alerts through a couple different means. Let's go back up one layer. And now, since we've gone ahead and we've exported some video, let's take a look at it, and let's talk about the new clip sharing features in OWS 1.7. This is really great stuff. So here's some of the clips that I've already stored. And as you can see here, I've got the unauthorized bandit and the problem employee. I've been watching this guy for a while. Here's our sample clip for today. Same person's involved. And again, I've got my clips here. All I have to do is go through here and look. And again, looks like our bandit may have an accomplice. And we've been working through this. So let's go ahead and let's view this particular clip. Let's go into view. So a couple of things I want to show here. First of all is you can edit the title individually. You can go into public notes. These can be seen by everybody. You can also edit and enter internal notes. Those are for your colleagues only. All right, so here's the clip. Very simple, easy playback here. It's a simple slider bar. This can be done in any browser. Very easy to use. And now we want to share this clip. So I need to get this clip maybe to a colleague, and I need to get this clip to my attorney because I really need some advice about what to do with this guy. So let's go ahead and add a new share. Okay, here is the new clip sharing interface in OWS 1.7. It's really flexible now. So the first thing I may want to do is send this to one of my colleagues. Okay, and this guy's already in the system, so he's been recognized. I'm also going to send this to my attorney. Okay, it didn't recognize that as a user. Here's one of the great new features of OWS 1.7. If you need to send a clip to somebody who is not a registered user with OWS, you now can do it. This person will receive an email invitation to view the clip. When they click on that, they'll be driven to actually register, put in their name and a password, and then they will be a, quote, guest user of the system. They can come in and out and view that clip. Very nice thing to do for your insurance agent, your attorney, local law enforcement, etc. This is dynamite. You can also now set an expiration date. This is another new feature of OWS 1.7. So why would we set an expiration date? I'm going to put this to the 31st. Couple of reasons. First is the video clip itself just might be sensitive in its nature. And you need people to look at it, but you don't want it hanging around or have people to have access to it forever. It's sensitive. That's reason one. Reason two is this is a great way to manage how your staff or your client staff works through incidents and or alerts. So by placing an expiration date on this, I can tell them, you've got to the end of the month to review this. I can tell my insurance agent and my lawyer as well. If they don't do it on the 1st of February, they're going to have to come to me and say, it's expired. What'll I do? This is a nice way to manage and make sure people can actually do work in the time frames you set up. You can also be nice and extend that expiration date, and I'll show that in just a minute as well. Next feature is allow user to download the video clip. This has been with OWS for a while. As a best practice, we don't suggest checking this box. Preserve your chain of evidence. Don't allow others the ability to actually download something. It's just a smart way to go. If this is an internal thing only, you want to use this clip for training, you want people to take it on the road and go to a couple other facilities to show it, then go ahead and share it. It's not a sensitive thing. Use your judgment there. Again, I always just like to talk about best practices. The next thing that's new with OWS 1.7 is that you can now add text to be included with the email. So I can now actually put this clip into context. I may talk to my lawyer 5 times a week about things. So I could say this is the unauth person need to terminate. And you may put that in there. And again, now what I can do is I can share this. All right. Now, upon sharing this clip, something else great and exciting happens. Another new piece to the clip sharing in OWS 1.7, auditing. So what we can see now is, first of all, the lawyer still shows as a guest user. When the lawyer registers and says, my name is Mr. Lawyer, that will show here. The shared date, the expiration dates are here. Also now, how many times has that person viewed this or downloaded it? That is now audited, and that's kept real time for you. Summation data is here. So this is really strong. Again, if you're going to manage an event, then have the tools at your disposal to properly manage it so you can manage it with urgency. Again, these type of events typically need to be handled. So making sure that your staff and everybody else involved did what they needed to do is going to be critical. This really gives you a great way to track that. Now, one of the other things we had talked about, the lawyer maybe calling up and saying, I'm so sorry I didn't get to the clip. I need another couple days. Well, that's as simple as going in and editing that share. And you can actually then go in and just change that expiration date, give them another week and save. Now that person's saved. So this is, again, very, very nice way to manage your events. The crux of this is to drive actionable alerts that are video verified that you can then take action for, against, etc. Very, very straightforward here. But again, super proud of this. The developers did a wonderful job getting this together for everybody. Okay. The most obvious value to using the OWS DMP integration is the video verification. I mean, truly, there's nothing more powerful than backing up the data from an alert with proof positive video. OWS alerts can be pushed to users, mobile devices, and central stations. Another very important thing to remember is that the integration is based on an IP connection across the local network. No physical contacts, wires, or relays are required between the DMP panel and the OpenEye recorder in order to receive alerts based on occurring panel events. If you wish to add another panel event or event role, you can do that remotely through the software, and you do not have to send a TAC back on site to wire another physical connection in order to get that information. Auto-syncing of panel data means any adds, changes, or deletions to zones or areas on the panel are communicated to the OpenEye recorder. Again, you don't have to keep data on both sides of the fence. And one last important part of the OWS value proposition is that our recorder acts as a hub of sorts. Not only does it collect DMP panel events, but sensor events, motion events, analytic events, plus other events like recorder health and camera health. So let's go ahead and look a little bit deeper into the email alerts and the advanced push notifications, as well as the DMP virtual keypad. So let's start by taking a look at an email alert. Here's what an email alert looks like, and you can see here's our problem child. He is all over the place in this demonstration today. But when you get this email, you're going to get your snapshot, and you're going to know just something I want to look at. Remember we talked about the image offset earlier? If you push the image offset for this particular device to +2, we'd catch this guy's face as he was turning around. To view the video, simply click View Video. And it's going to drive you right into the search screen within OWS and bring that clip right up and go ahead and play it for you. And there we can go. So again, from here we can play this. We have all the controls to snapshot this. We can bring in other cameras that were around there to put this scenario maybe in a better context. And of course, at the end of it all, we can export that clip and share it with anybody else that we would wish to. So again, very, very nice there as well. With that being shown, if you give me just one moment, I would like now to show the push notifications on the mobile as well as the DMP virtual keypad application. So give me just a minute while I bring up my phone. And ta-da. And I love technology. So here is my phone. And if I go ahead and I pull down my notifications, what I can see here is that I've gotten a bunch of motion alerts here this morning, and I can look through any of these. All right, and here's all my different notifications. And if any of these are of interest to me, I simply just have to hold it down, and it's going to bring me up the snapshot. Now, if this is of interest to me, all I have to do is say, view video. This is going to bring up the OpenEye app, and it's going to drive directly to the playback, and we'll be able to see this alert. This is incredibly powerful, very, very easy to use as well. So you'll see we have nice playback features within. You can go forwards and backwards. If we turn this thing the other way, we can actually go ahead and change maybe the quality of this video, so we can really go ahead and zoom in and move around and do what we need to do. Again, very, very powerful stuff, and quite frankly, really nice, really nice to use. If we go back into the alerts here, we can see that I have an awful lot of motion detected alerts here, right? So this is going to drive me into another example. One of these examples is this. I have a motion alert. We set it up earlier. It's set to go 24 hours a day on Saturdays and Sundays. I came into the office on Saturday morning. I have to get some work done. I'm running around the office, and my phone's getting hit with these motion detections. I'm the one tripping it. All I want to do is silence these for a little bit, quiet them as it were. So to do that, you can go back into the shared video screen, and from there, you can go ahead and tap the 3 buttons in the upper right, and you can say turn off. Now what it's going to ask you is, you want me to turn them all off, or do you just want to turn off something in particular? Well, in this case, yeah, I still want all my other alerts on. I just want to get rid of the motion temporarily. So I can just say configure an OpenEye. And from there, all I have to do is turn off that motion alert. When it's time for me to go home or leave the office, I can go right back in, and I can go to my notifications, and I can turn it right back on when I walk out the door. So it's really, really straightforward, to use there as well. Very nice feature sets. Again, motion detections are in there. We have some access denied. That happened a little earlier today as well, so we can go ahead and view that if we wish. Again, it's going to go out and grab us our associated snapshot that comes with it. And again, here's the bandit. This guy is everywhere. Again, we can go ahead and view this, or you can go ahead and close it out. I already know I have to talk to this guy, so I won't go any further with that. But again, very straightforward, but easy to use. When you're doing playback, you can go from a single camera to 4. So again, if you want to see sort of put some context around the area, maybe there's some associated cameras that'll paint the picture better, you can do that as well. So very, very straightforward on that, folks. So that's the push notifications. Now let me go ahead and bring up DMP's virtual keypad. So this is the virtual keypad app, and again, from here, everything from arming and disarming your system to verifying whether or not an event was real or false, it's all here at your fingertips. So you can arm and disarm any of these areas, and when you do, you will be given a very nice alert, and it looks like these. All right, so you'll see these here, and sorry about that, folks. And you'll see the alerts here, and you can see when people have armed and disarmed a system. That will let you know, of course, right away. And then you're back to your virtual keypad app. DMP did a great job building a video integration into the OpenEye video. So from the DMP virtual keypad, you can get to your OpenEye cameras, and that's where the video verification comes in. When that alarm goes off, you will, on your keypad, be shown that there's an alarm situation, and it's going to bring up those OpenEye cameras. You can then make an informed decision on whether law enforcement needs to be dispatched or not. Having these type of technology at your fingertips really cuts down on false alarms, first and foremost. I think we all know that can get expensive. If there's excessive ones, you can be fined pretty heavily, and sometimes, in bad cases, they may not come visit your facility for a few months. So nobody wants that. So this is a really great way to handle all of that. And again, we're really, really proud of the application itself.